He didn't choose his victims, he chose terror. No pattern, no mercy, no warning. In the dead of night, while Los Angeles slept, he entered homes like a shadow and left behind satanic symbols and corpses. Asterisk, they called him the Night Stalker, but his real name was Richard Ramirez. And what he did between 1984 and 1985 will haunt California forever. I slip through the darkness like a shadow come alive. The humid Los Angeles night clings to my skin, heavy as sin. Streetlights sputter in the distance, their jaundiced glow painting long, trembling lines across cracked sidewalks. I breathe in the city's fear, every tremor in the air, every hush of terrified hearts, then exhale it back as my own dark communion. On nights like this, I move unseen. Black jeans, black shirt, black boots, no detail to betray me. My pulse never races. My mind is a razor, honed on obsession and ritual. I feel the pounding of my own blood, time with the halo of street lamps, counting seconds until I cross the threshold of my next victim's home. Tonight's target is a modest single story. House on Van Nuys Boulevard. The family inside slumbers behind drawn curtains. Husband, wife, maybe children. I don't discriminate. The randomness is part of the terror. I've chosen this address not by hatred of one soul, but by the delicious thrill of unknowing. I kneel at the window, watching the faint rise and fall of a chest beneath plain white sheets. A single bulb flickers in the hallway, humble sentinel against nightmares. I test the window latch, 2 clicks, and the glass slides open without resistance. I'm inside before the earth beneath me knows I've arrived. In my pocket, the weight of my tools presses against my palm, a handful of bullets and a length of rope. But first, the symbols. I pause in the hallway, heart cold, and draw a crooked circle around a crude inverted cross I've carved into the wood with a shard of metal. My fingers trace each line with reverence. This is my mark, my pact. Hail Satan. The hallway light catches the glint of sweat on my brow as I advance. The air smells of disinfectant and the scent of supposed safety. I step lightly. The door to the master bedroom stands ajar. Inside lies my victim, unaware. I kneel by the bed, watching her chest rise and fall in rhythmic innocence. I raise my gloved hand and press the wheel of the revolver against her temple. The world contracts to the cold steel and the faint sound of her breath. I could pull the trigger now, end it swiftly. But why rush? The terror I bring is my masterpiece. Pain, terror, confusion, this is my canvas. A bead of sweat trickles down her forehead as she hesitates in her sleep, the first flicker of something amiss. I savor the moment, the whisper of dread before the scream. Then I remove the safety and watch my weapon click home. The night holds its breath, and somewhere, far beyond these walls, Los Angeles dreams on. I slip away from the bedroom as quietly as I arrived, boots whispering against the plush carpet. Her soft gasp in the distance is a final lullaby for the living. I pause in the hallway, inhale the coppery temps of fear still hanging in the air, and feel satisfaction bloom like a dark flower in my chest. My mark is complete, but the ritual demands more. I retrieve a length of coarse hemp rope from my jacket pocket. It feels alive in my hands, rough, unyielding, obedient. In the laundry room, I tie it into a noose, knotting it with care and precision. Each loop is a prayer, each tug of the fibers a vow to something greater than myself. The inverted cross, slashed into the doorframe, beckons me forward. as if urging me to finish my sacred work. I return to the bedroom doorway. Moonlight filters through the blinds, casting stripes across her motionless form. The bullet lodged in her skull has done its work. There will be no more movement, no more terror from this vessel. Yet I cannot leave without the offering a final act of devotion. Slowly, I draped the rope around her neck, looping it once more beneath her chin. My breathing is steady, deliberate, as if conducting a symphony only I can hear. A practiced twist of the wrist cinches the noose tight. Flesh yields to force. I tighten until the slack vanishes, and then a fragment of a whisper escapes my lips. Hail Satan. It's not for her to hear, but for me to know I am faithful. When the rope is taut, I step back and study my creation. The corpse sways gently, a macabre pendulum marking the end of this night's performance. Beneath her hanging form, I scatter salt in a rough circle and ancient barrier, warding off any light that might try to pry into my domain. Before I go, I pause one last time to carve my symbol into the wooden floorboards with the same shard of metal. The piercing scrape echoes in the silent house like a vow etched into eternity. I stand over the fresh gouge, fingertips rubbing the sharp edges, tasting the dust of sacrifice. Then I vanish into the blackness, melding with the night that birthed me. Outside, the palm fronds whisper secrets overhead. Somewhere nearby, a dog barks, startled by the echo of nightmares it cannot yet understand. I melt into the shadows on Van Nuys Boulevard, leaving behind shattered lives and riddles written in blood and symbol. Tomorrow, the city will wake to sirens and screams, 2 headlines recounting horror and speculation. And I will be waiting hungry for the next window, the next scream, the next soul willing to become my canvas under the watchful eye of my dark devotion. The thrill lingers on my skin long after I've slipped from the crime scene. I walk the empty sidewalks of North Hollywood, shoulders relaxed, heart calm. Beneath my coat, the symbols I carry pulse with life-charred paper scraps smeared with inked runes, a portion of the rope stained faintly crimson. These trophies are my silent sermons to powers unseen. I pause beneath a flickering neon sign that hums in the early hours. A burst of static and shifting light plays across my face, casting me as both hunter and hunted. In this city, the 2 roles blur. I savor the paradox. My boots click against the curb as I move on, weaving through alleys scented with last night's garbage and gasoline. My mind drifts to the headlines that will swirl. Tomorrow, Night Stalker strikes again. They'll scream, ritualistic, symbols left at scene. They'll trace the cross to ancient cults, speculating on diabolical motives. They won't see the clarity behind the madness, the devotion. They'll never understand the purity of my mission. Tonight's crown jewel deserves something special, an offering that will etch fear deeper into the city's soul. I retrace my steps to a quiet tract home on La Cienega Boulevard. No cameras, clear sightlines, families who believe locked doors can protect them. I scale the wooden fence with practiced ease, each board giving way beneath my fingertips. I crouch, inhaling the scent of lavender and patio barbecue dot through the sliding glass door. I spot my intended victim, a young man asleep on the couch. Leather jacket draped over one arm, headphones still clamped to his ears. He dreams of music, but I'll remix it with screams. I lean in close, the metallic temps of anticipation on my tongue. My gloved hand flicks open a switchblade, blade glinting. I run the edge across his forearm in one smooth motion, a line of scarlet blossoming beneath my touch. He stirs, but doesn't wake his body, frozen by the initial shock. I carve the inverted cross into the coffee table nearby, watching the splintered wood reveal its pale core. My lips part in a silent chant, as if the vibration of words could summon something ancient. "Hail Satan," I murmur, louder this time, letting the syllables shatter the night's fragile peace. He wakes with a jolt, eyes wide, pupils like dark holes swallowing the light. Panic rises in his throat as I toss the knife aside and produce a length of twisted wire. It coils in my hand like a living serpent. I bind his wrists together, slow and methodically twist of the wire, a binding of soul to fate. He struggles, but the more he fights, the more he bleeds, leaving a trail of red fingerprints on my jacket sleeve. Good. Pain heightens awareness. He looks at me, then recognition flickers in his eyes. The terror he sees in himself mirrors my own calm devotion. I lean close, breath warm against his ear. "You asked for music," I whisper, then step back into the shadows and let the night reel in his final scream. The city breathes in uneasy rhythms now. Sirens wail through the streets like wounded beasts, chasing echoes of my handiwork. I watch from the shadows as police chalk up another address, another shattered family. They scour bulletin boards with grainy photos of my face, those haunting eyes staring back at them from a freshly printed newspaper. Such desperation in their glare. How easily they misunderstand devotion. But it's the civilians who unsettle me most. Mothers clutch children in doorways. Teenagers huddle under streetlights, daring each other to venture further down darkened alleys. I relish their paranoia. It's the undercurrent that fuels my purpose. Everywhere I look, I see the glimmer of fear, the question at the back of every mind: am I next? Tonight, I choose a different stage. I slip into an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Boyle Heights, its corrugated walls stained with time and rust. Inside, moonbeams pierce broken windows, carving lattice of light onto the dusty floor. I have no intent to kill here. Instead, I prepare a message that will haunt Los Angeles long after I've gone, with chalk stolen from a school desk. I draw an immense inverted cross on the concrete floor, each line thick with ominous, each line thick with ominous confidence. In the very center, I inscribe 3 words in jagged capitals: fear is real. My letters drip with intent, each stroke a promise of more horrors to come. As I finish, I step back to admire the scene. Then, from my coat pocket, I withdraw a small cassette tape blank, save for the scrawled label. Night Stalker speaks. My fingers hover over the play button. I think of the millions who will discover this recording, of their hearts punching against their chests as my voice, cold and steady, spills from roadside boomboxes and telephone earpieces across the city. A thrill pulses through me at the thought. I press play and record my confession directly. My reasons, my reverence, my command to embrace terror. I don't pause to edit. Every stutter, every inhale is part of the ritual. "You cannot hide," I murmur. "I am justice in the dark. Hail Satan." Satisfied, I wind the tape back, pocket it, and light a small flare at the warehouse entrance. Its flame licks the air, hissing like a summoned demon. I step into its glow briefly, silhouette elongated against burning embers, an unholy spectre. Etched in flame, the flare gutters out, and the warehouse plunges back into shadow. I vanish beneath the cloak of night, leaving behind my message etched in concrete and captured in magnetic tape. Soon, Los Angeles will wake to discover my confession, echoing through its veins. and they will know this is only the beginning. I've grown bold. The headlines scream my name: Night Stalker, Devilman, LAS, Boogeyman. I revel in the notoriety. Tonight, I choose a quiet cul-de-sac in Whittier. The street is lined with neatly trimmed hedges and single-story ranch. Homes that promise suburban safety. Their complacency will be their downfall. I slip past the motion-activated lights and crouch beneath a bay window, peering inside at a family gathered for a late dinner. Laughter bounces off tiled floors. Children chase one another with squeals of delight. My lips curve into a smile beneath the black bandana covering my face. I unclasp my backpack and withdraw a Polaroid camera. Click, flash. The image of bliss immortalized in one bright moment, frozen for me to collect. I tuck the photo into my coat pocket, another trophy for my shrine. Then I slip through the slightly ajar patio door, steps silent on the cool tile. A metallic thrill ripples through me. Inside, the father rushes toward the back door at the sound of glass sliding. He's tall, with broad shoulders, protective instinct blazing in his eyes. Perfect. I pivot, brandishing the handgun. His grin falters, replaced by a flash of terror that sends a jolt of satisfaction through me. "Stay back," I whisper, voice low and threatening. He freezes, hands raised. His wife darts for the phone, but I fire a warning shot into the doorway. The frame splinters. She recoils, dropping the phone. Beneath my mask, I savor the fear that radiates from them. I command him to lie on the floor, face down, and he obeys. The children huddle against the far wall, wide-eyed beneath fluorescent glare. I stride forward, marking circles of salt around their feet. "Protection won't save you," I murmur, each word a blade. I move behind the father and deliver a blow to the back of his head with the butt of my gun. He slumps, dazed. The wife screams, a raw, jagged sound that tears at the night. I lift. The camera again click. Flash and capture her horror in Polaroid. 2 more pictures for my album. Suddenly, the shrill wail of approaching sirens rattles the air. Adrenaline surges. This intrusion police is unexpected. I've never fled in haste before. With disciplined calm, I back toward the broken door, my pack slung over one shoulder. Behind me, the family's terror swells, mixing with the distant churn of patrol cars. I slip out into the night, blending with alley shadows. The lights flood the streets seconds too late. Voices call out. Footsteps pound pavement. I vanish, heart hammering not from fear, but from exhilaration. The next morning, I read that officers found no bodies, no blood, only shattered glass, and 3 Polaroids left on the floor. A man's horrified gaze, a woman's scream, and a child curled against the wall, eyes brimming with dread. The papers call it a sick prank. Detectives' heads scratch over the missing victims. I smile. The city's confusion fuels me. Yet my luck will change. A tattered newspaper on a coffee table across town bears my face, grainy, black and white, but unmistakable. Citizens memorize every freckle, every glint in my eyes. Soon, their vigilance will be my undoing. I can feel it, even now, tracing my name on trembling lips. He's out there. He could be next door, behind your window. In their fear, they become hunters, and when they strike, I will meet them head-on. After all, terror is a game and I have always played to win. August 30th, 1985. The sky is smeared with ash-colored clouds, thick with heat and tension. I can feel it in the air change. Not the kind that creeps in quietly, but the kind that smashes through walls. For the first time in weeks, I feel ... watched. Not by police, by the people that morning. I board a Greyhound back into Los Angeles after a night spent drifting between San Francisco alleyways. When I step off the bus, something is wrong. Eyes dart toward me. Murmurs ripple through the air. I'm no longer the phantom in the dark. Someone points. Another whispers. A man clutches a newspaper with my photo plastered across the front page. The Night Stalker, suspect identified. My face, my eyes, the very expression I saw in the mirror this morning, exposed. Run, the streets explode around me, shouts. Footsteps, car doors slamming. I cut through alleys and jump fences, adrenaline scorching through my veins. But this time, it's not police chasing me, it's civilians. The very same people I once stalked are now chasing me near Hubbard Street. A man spots me trying to pull a woman from her car. He shouts. Others join him. Then the mob forms. It starts with one man slamming a metal pipe against my back. The pain flares red hot, but I keep running. Another hits me in the jaw, teeth clack, vision blurs. I stumble, fall. Kicks rain down like judgment from the sky. Fists, shoes, fury. Iju, G. You like hurting people? Huh. Try it now. This is for Maria. I curl into myself, my body folding like crumpled paper. Bones crack. Blood pours from my mouth. The rage of the city has turned. Human vengeance, wearing work boots and tank tops. My power, my fearsome presence has evaporated. I'm just another broken man on the ground. Then dash sirens. Blinding red and blue lights flash. LAPD officers push through the crowd, shouting, weapons drawn. One officer shields me as another drags my limp body into a patrol car. My face is a pulpy mess. My ribs scream. But I'm alive. And as they slam the door and drive off, I catch my reflection in the rearview mirrors, swollen, bloody, monstrous. A low chuckle rattles in my throat, then rises into a rasping laugh. They caught me, so what? They think the terror ends here, fools. I stare through the bars of the squad car, watching the faces vanish in the distance. They think they've won, but they don't know what's coming next. The trial, the spectacle, the words I will leave behind. 3 words that will echo through their bones forever. Hail, Satan. The courtroom is a theater of trembling eyes and whispered prayers. Rows of people line the benches, families of the dead, reporters scribbling furiously, jurors trying not to look at me. They all came here expecting a monster in chains, and I deliver. I enter wearing dark sunglasses, hair hanging loose, a sneer pulling at the corners of my mouth. The chains clink as I walk, but I move with confidence, arrogance even. I flash a grin to the crowd and raise my hand to fingers extended, twisted into horns. Hail Satan, I say loud, clear, defiant. Gasps ripple through the room like waves of electricity. The judge bangs the gavel, the bailiffs shift uncomfortably, and somewhere in the gallery, a woman starts crying. Good, they don't realize this isn't their courtroom. It's mine. Every minute they spend looking at me, every headline printed, every news broadcast. It feeds the legend. I've become something greater than a man. I am a myth forged in blood and fear. The prosecution tries to paint a picture of depravity, how I broke into homes, raped, tortured, murdered indiscriminately. They drag up evidence, display photographs of my victims. They call me evil, Inhuman.day chose this. Each act was a ritual, each scream a hymn, each life taken was a sacrifice to the one who watches from the shadows beyond. This world, I wasn't killing. I was offering. The trial drags on for months. I sit through it like a king watching jesters. I smirk, laugh, even wink at the families across the room. Some days I shout blasphemies. Other days I say nothing at all. The media can't get enough. But there's a woman, one of the jurors, who refuses to look at me. Day after day, she stares down, hands trembling, lips moving in silent prayer. I watch her closely. One day she finally glances up, and I mouth the words, "You're next." She turns pale. Eventually, the verdict arrives. 19 death sentences. The judge says it's the harshest penalty ever handed down in California. I nod. "Big deal," I whisper. They send me to San Quentin, death row. The guards keep me in isolation. Letters pour in from around the world, some filled with hatred, some with admiration. Women write love notes. A few even propose. From behind these bars, I watch the world obsess over my legacy. Movies, books, documentaries. They call me evil incarnate. But the truth is simpler. I was honest. I embraced the dark that lives inside all of us. I didn't lie to myself like they do. That's what made me powerful. Years pass. My body begins to fail. Cancer grows like rot inside me. But I don't fear death. I've met him. I've walked beside him. And when the final breath comes, I'll smile. Not because I'm sorry. Not because I've changed. But because even in death, they'll still remember me. They'll remember the Night Stalker. They'll remember Richard Ramirez. And long after the lights go out, they'll whisper my words. Hail, Satan.